If you're going into the wilderness, you should have a survival kit. And I'm not talking about a cheap survival kit that you bought for 10 bucks on Amazon. And with a little bit of information, you can build a solid survival kit on your own. In this video, I want to show you my wilderness survival kit and talk to you about why I've chosen the specific items. Now, there are lots of different ways to carry your survival kit. This is what I'm running as of recently, because I can still throw a backpack on top of this, but this is a CV Life chest rig. It's going to run you a little over $20. They have them in a variety of different colors. It's comfortable, it's compact, and allows me to organize my gear inside here. Also, if I'm out day hiking, I can keep a phone right here, so I can take out my phone to take pictures and stuff. Easy access because it's on my chest. There are lots of other companies that make these style of chest rigs. Hill People Gear makes a very well-liked and well-appreciated version of these types of things. If you want to start off with something lower cost, you could check out something from CV Life. I definitely recommend, if you're not going to carry it in this kind of setup, carry it in something that's going to keep all the gear together. Don't put a little bit of gear here, a little bit of gear there, in a pocket, because then all of a sudden you might be separated from the gear because, like I said, you lost your pack or it fell out of your pocket. Keep that survival gear together so you have access to it. And in general, if you can keep it outside of your pack, you can keep it like a small kit in a pocket on your pants. That's a great way to set things up. All right, let's get into the gear. Right on the front, you can see I've got this reflective patch. You can take this off, but it's nice and secure when it's on there, and this is absorbing light during the day. It's big enough, it could actually give you a little bit of light to operate at night, and it's definitely something that somebody could see from a distance. So you can get these from CountyCom and other places, but great, simple product, add it to your gear, and now if somebody sees that at night, that might be the person who's coming to rescue you. Second up, I've got a pair of mechanics gloves. I keep these on the front. I generally don't like things bouncing like this when I hike, but nice to have a pair of gloves for warmth, and also just in general, man, you cut your hand up in a bad situation, not good, and now you've got another level of concern beyond being lost or something like that. So having a good pair of gloves is a major win. These are not something that I'm going to put my hand into water, into the snow. It's going to keep me dry long term. But even if I'm hiking and moving wearing these, this will help keep my hands warm. Now, one other thing I have here on the front is this little light from Olight, and it hangs off here. You can attach it to other gear, but it is attached with a carabiner. And you can see when I press the center button here to turn it on, we get normal light, then we get a flashing light like that. We get this red steady light, green steady, blue steady, back to the white. Now, this is not going to replace my headlamp, but it is going to give an additional source of light. And with those multicolor settings, if I put this on an end of a piece of paracord and whip this thing over my head in a field, it's going to definitely stand out if somebody's flying over looking for somebody like me lost in the woods or injured in the woods. So simple little product. And if you don't have this, obviously this exact one, you can certainly find other products like this, a small compact light that you can use for signaling. All right, opening up this front pouch, first thing you'll see is a headlamp. This is from Princeton Tech. It does work off AAA batteries. I always recommend bring extra batteries just in case the ones you're using die out. That's a huge win to do that. Princeton Tech makes a great light. It's also lightweight, and I do like a rechargeable headlamp, but one that has replaceable batteries guarantees I don't need to plug a headlamp in to charge it up because I've got extra batteries. Again, you're going to spend probably 40 or 50 bucks on a Princeton Tech headlamp, but they make a great and reliable light. I have this one here, and I keep one in my car as well. The headlamps are great because you can be hiking down the path hands-free. You can be doing something around camp hands-free. And also, some of these have extra built-in features like a flashing light or a strobe or a beacon. So another way to signal and get somebody's attention. Headlamp, huge, huge win for a survival kit. Next up here, I have a small fixed blade. This is the Lulu from nafs.com. And this is in Magna Cut steel and compact fixed blade, very easy to use, good steel, easy to store. It's compact, it has a nice deep leather sheath. You can also get this one with a Kydex sheath as well. Folding blade versus fixed blade in the woods, it's always going to be a fixed blade for me, but you don't need a massive knife. This is also the kind of thing where when you start hiking, you can put it on your belt because it's unlikely your belt's going to get separated from you unless things go really, really, really bad. But having a knife, you can cut feather sticks, you can process something, if you caught some food, you can help make a shelter, you can cut cordage, you can scrape bark, you can scrape your fire steel. So great to have a small fixed blade knife like this. Speaking of fire steel, I have this behemoth, and this is coming to us from Exotac. So a massive fire steel. You want to carry a lighter? Great, awesome. You want to carry some matches? Great, awesome. But a fire steel is awesome because, and my favorite, because you can put it into the snow, put it in the water, wipe it off, and it'll still work. Make sure you have a way to strike on this, because if you have this and no striker, that's a major bummer. But as you can see, this is a big hefty one, and this one also, this is the Fire Rod XL. When you open up the base, we've got some of those quick fires, and then also right around here, we've got duct tape. So a bunch of different pieces of kit, and the quick fire is awesome. So fluff it up a little bit. Little hint here, you don't have to use an entire thing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. You don't have to use an entire one to start a fire. Just use a tiny bit and save the rest. That's awesome. Also, you could store something else in there if you wanted to put, maybe you had some extra medication you want to put in there. Tylenol, ibuprofen, you could put some in there and then squish this down. It's probably going to rattle a little bit unless you really get it compact. The other good thing about this one is you can replace the actual fire steel, replace it from the handle. It's fully threaded. Take it out, put a new one in when this one is gone. Fire steel and lighter, great. Fire steel, lighter, and matches, great. But definitely a fire steel, in my mind, for a survival kit out in the woods. And once again, know how to use this. All right, next up in this main section, I have a life straw. You can carry a Sawyer filter if you want instead. Make sure you bring the straw extension for the Sawyer filter. That'll just make life easier. But this thing is lightweight. It's gonna cost you around 20 bucks. You can put it around your neck, and this is gonna filter out the vast majority of nasties in water. One of the biggest things I like to say to people is that in a survival situation, it's easy to go, oh, I can live without water for 3 days. Yeah, it's gonna be really bad after 3 days, but it's gonna start getting bad after really a handful of hours. Like if you've been out and exerting yourself, you've been walking all day, even if you're just sitting and hunkered down, when you get dehydrated, you start to get headaches, body aches, you can get chills. So having a way to get water is key. I prefer this or a life straw over something like tablets that you have to put in to a container, make sure that they break apart, make sure that you get it on the lip of the container, all those things. Additionally, great, but having this type of thing where you can, boom, put it in the water, drink it, you're good to go. Life straw, low cost, and a high value item. Now, as far as making a shelter, if you can get a tarp into your kit, great. But I think at least having 1 or even 2 of these astronaut blankets is a huge deal. You can use 1 to make a shelter and then 1 to wrap around yourself. I did a video years ago testing this out as far as does it really keep you warm, and I was sitting on my front porch, 35-degree difference between the outdoor temperature and the temperature inside, like close to my body, even though I was just sitting on the front porch with just this wrapped around me. This makes a huge difference. So if you have 1 of these, you can have as a shelter. You can even just hunker down and put it over your head and wrap it around you, and it's essentially a shelter. The rain's not going to get on you as long as you have it over your body. But the great thing about these is, especially when you first get them, they're very compact. So sometimes I'll just get one of these, keep it in the pack, or 2 of them, and slide it into a survival kit. Great to keep you warm, great to keep the weather off you as well. You can also get one from like SOL, where they're reflective on one side and orange on the other side, so you can get somebody's attention with a bright blaze orange shelter that you might set up. But here's a way to cover yourself and to keep the weather off you and stay warm and at least a little bit drier. I think the 2 biggest challenges for a survival kit are the shelter, so like the tarp, so that's why I have this astronaut blanket, and also not necessarily collecting the water, but carrying water. And so I wanna highly recommend to you these vapor bottles, right? So as you can see, it's like a durable plastic. You can roll it up, it gets very compact, but you can unroll it. And when it's unrolled, you can hold about a ½ liter of water. You've got this carabiner on top. There's your drink spout. You may say, well, how am I gonna get water into this that's clean? I know it's disgusting, but in a survival situation, you suck water up with the life straw and you spit it into here. There you go. You could also fill this with water and then drink it out of the life straw through here, but that's dangerous because I think you might forget and then go, oh my gosh, I just drank a bunch of water that's got Giardia in it. So suck it up, spin it in, and now you can actually carry the water with you. If you find a water source when you're out in a survival situation, man, take advantage of that. Drink a ton of water, obviously filter through the Life Straw or your Sawyer filter, and then load up here. Definitely have a way to carry water. This is a great way to do it. Another good product to keep with you, even if you can't get this, is just a bag, like a very heavy duty Ziploc bag. Now it's gonna be more dangerous because you could tip it and water's gonna leak out, but at least you have something. Even if you get half of a big, gallon Ziploc bag of water and you gotta carry it in your hand, at least you've got some water for the road. So that's the worst case scenario. There are other companies that make these types of water bags. So check that out and definitely have a way to carry water in your survival kit. Just a few more items to talk about. Having a bandana is a great tool to have. Now you can get a bright orange one or a bright red one to signal. This is one from Wazoo Survival Gear. It's got tons of plants. It's a plant identifier on it. Medicinal and edible plants. I think something that can teach you in a survival situation and give you information, it's a great deal. Not only am I able to say, well, like I already know dandelion's edible, but if I didn't know, I could go, oh, looks like the dandelion is edible. That's good to know because I just saw some dandelion. That's huge. Beyond that, just learning and reading some stuff can get your mind off of the survival situation and just keep you mentally in a good place. One of the worst, if not the worst, no, I'm gonna say it is the worst enemy in a survival situation, it's your brain. Your brain is gonna lead you astray and then it's gonna impact your body, put you in dangerous situations. So keeping your brain straight and clear thinking is a huge deal. That's why hydration is important. And just getting your mind off of what you're dealing with right then to learn and engage that part of your brain for reading, that could be a huge win. A shemagh scarf, a bandana, anything like this can be used to collect things. It can be used for medical purposes, as a sling, as a signal. You can wipe sweat with it. You can put it on your head. So having a bandana or a shemagh scarf, great tool to have. And find one that teaches you something or gives you information that's written right there on the bandana. The last main item I want to show to you is the spool tool. So this is how I organize my paracord. You don't need to have something as big as this, but it is a great tool. And I have a lighter that is built in right there, one of these mini Bic lighters. So now I have my fire steel and a lighter as well. I do like a Bic lighter because even if that gets wet, you can dry it out and at least you can get a spark out of it, even if it's totally empty of fuel. But in general, if you dry it out well, you can actually get it to work again. And obviously having cordage, now I can set up a shelter. Now I can figure out a way to maybe carry some gear. Like I said, putting this light on the end of a piece of paracord and swinging it around to get somebody's attention, that could be a great thing. So having cordage is a huge win for a survival kit. And you don't have to know a ton of knots, honestly. It's great to grow in your knowledge of how to tie, taut line hitch, things like that. But if you know how to tie a square knot and you have to tie a bunch of them just to get something secure, that can work in a survival situation. Now I'm calling this kit a baseline survival kit because you could add in a small multi-tool. You could add in a picture of your family and some Bible verses to keep you focused and inspired while you're in a survival situation. You could also add in like a needle or two so you could get out splinters or things like that. You could add in a signal mirror. This is the baseline kit that you can add other items to, but I think with this type of kit and this type of setup, you've got a way better chance to survive in the woods. What else do you keep in your survival kit? What other survival situations have you been in? Let's hear in the comments below. Here's some more videos for you to check out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.